welcome to the DIY in VR channel. This is Mr. S. This video is brought to you by everestmodel.com, the best scale modeling website in the world. For a better viewing experience, please put on your VR headset. Today we're going to build the Tamiya 148 M1A2 main battle tank. The kit is fairly easy. It has around 5 sprues. And as usual, the Tamiya kits have very good fit. The main reason why I chose this tank is that I wanted to test the black and white technique. Most of the modern tanks are very sleek. They only have 1 or 2 colors. We will use the black and white technique to make this yellow tank a little bit more interesting. Because this tank is essentially monochrome, which is light sand, I'm going to build as much as possible first, then I'm going to paint everything together. So let's get started. First, I'm going to cut the parts from the sprue. As usual, I'm using a very sharp snipper and I'm trying to cut as close as possible to the root of the parts. Once the parts are cut, I'm going to assemble the model with glues. There are essentially 2 types of glues. One is the normal plastic cement. The other one is the CA glue, which is the cyanoacrylate glue. I used to think that plastic cement are for plastic and CA glue are for everything that is not plastic, something like metal. But this is not true. And there are multiple occasions where you want to glue plastic with CA glue. The bond of the CA glue is usually stronger than the bond of the plastic cement. But the problem of the CA glue is that it could be messy. So what I do is that I put the CA glue on a spoon or any single-use recipient, and I use a toothpick to apply the CA glue to the model. After assembling the lower hull, now I'm going to put the wheels together with plastic cement. I tried to dry fit the wheels to the hole, but lost one to the carpet monster. Let's see it again in slow-mo. The smaller parts are easier to work with tweezers. Since the contact points are smaller, you want a pretty strong bond, so don't hesitate to use CA glue. If the detail is the same color as the hull, you should glue it to the hull because you can paint everything in one go. After the lower hull, let's assemble the upper hull with CA glue and plastic cement. We need to drill 4 holes on the turret. That is for the cables, I think. I used a Tamiya drill set and pin vise. Now let's do the gun barrels. Plastic cement would be enough. The contact point for the rack behind the turret is very small, so do not hesitate to use CA glue again. Now the turret, the upper hull, and the lower hull are assembled. Let's dry fit them together. If you like our content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can also visit our sponsor's website, everestmodel.com. So, now all the parts that are light sand are assembled. Let's get into the serious business of the black and white technique. As its name suggests, the black and white technique needs black paint and white paint. First, I'm going to put the acrylic black paint on the paint tray. Then I'm going to add the acrylic thinner with a pipette. The pipette really helps you to be more precise in the quantity of thinner you want to put. Now I'm mixing the paint and the thinner with a toothpick, but actually I should be doing it with a real stirrer. Let's pour the paint into the airbrush cup. I'm setting the air pressure from my compressor to 30 to 35 psi. Before airbrushing, don't forget the personal protection. So I'm putting a glove on my left hand because I'm holding my model with it. Here's the face mask. Even if I'm outside on my balcony, I still bought a spray booth that can extract the paint film further away. Let's get back to the black and white technique. So first I'm gonna paint the whole model black. So here's the turret. And I'm gonna do the same for the upper hull and the lower hull. Now the whole tank has been painted in black. Let's do the white part. The same as the black paint, let's pour the white paint on the paint tray. Then we should add the acrylic thinner with the pipette. We stir everything and we add the mixture to the airbrush. Since the tank has large surfaces, that's going to be monochrome at the end, we're going to paint the center of the areas in white, leaving the outline black. Black and white are the most contrasting colors that exist. We're putting them underneath the main paint with a slight sand to create a forced contrast and make the main paint more interesting. I'm gonna do the same for the upper hull and the lower hull. Now the whole tank has been painted using the black and white technique. It's time to paint the main light sand color. I'm using the Tamiya TS46 light sand. However, you don't have much control with a spray can, so I want to airbrush it. I'm going to transfer the paint from the spray can to the airbrush with a straw. Now we can airbrush the color pretty normally. You should stop airbrushing the main color when the black and white underneath is barely visible. I'm gonna do it for the upper hull, the turret, and the lower hull. Here's the end result. Now let's take care of the tracks. I'm gonna airbrush the tracks using XF84 dark iron according to the instruction, and brush paint the rubber pads with XF85 rubber black. Before doing any weathering, we should put the decals on. The first step is to cut the decal paper with a pair of scissors. To reduce the silvering effect of the decals, you should cut as close as possible to the graphics. The silvering effect is that the decals are super gloss and your model is actually matte. So under certain angle, you can see the decal shining on your model, and that is very bad. Now we can put the decals into tap water and wait for maybe 30 seconds. It is recommended to pick up the decals with tweezers. You should be able to move the graphics that are on the decal paper. If yes, you can slide the decals onto the model. If not, don't force it, just wait a little bit. Because if you force it, you can break the decal. In my opinion, the Abrams tanks shouldn't be too much weathered. So first I'm gonna add some dust with the 8K Africa dust effects. The 8K effects are enamel based. So I'm gonna wipe up the excess paint with a cotton swab dipped into Tamiya enamel thinner. Now it's time to add the washes to the body. Since the tank is light sand, I'm gonna use the Tamiya dark brown panel liner to give some more accent to the panel lines. The Tamiya panel liners are also enamel based, so I wiped off the excess with Tamiya enamel thinner and a cotton swab. I'm adding the Tamiya panel liner black to the ventilation grills. Now we can add some details with the taillights. First, I'm going to give it a coat of chrome silver X11. Then I'm going to put the clear red on top of it. We're almost done with the model. What is missing in the kit is the antennas on top of the turret. So I'm going to scratch building it with stress sprue. So I took a leftover piece of sprue. I burned it with a lighter. When the sprue is soft, I start to stretch it. Then you can select a section for your antennas and fix it to the model with CA glue. Et voila, our M1A2 Abrams is done. So let's review all the items I've been using during the build. So here you have the nipper. I recommend the God Hand brand from Japan. It's super sharp, super perfect. Here you have the cement, normal cement, and here's the extra thin cement. So the extra thin is perfect because very convenient because so you want to glue two parts together, right? So you can put the two parts together without any glue. Then you put the glue after. So the extra thin is very liquid and it's going to flow between the two parts and it's going to glue it. So it's very convenient to put it after. Okay, the CA glue thing you have to use with the spoon and toothpicks. Angle tweezers, very convenient for small parts. This was for the decals, and these two are for the antennas. For the paint, we mostly used the light sand from Tamiya spray, but we used the straws to airbrush it. Here are all the other Tamiya acrylics I used. They're perfect for airbrushing, and I also used the Tamiya thinner to thin it down. For weathering, I used the black wash, the dark brown wash, the Africa dust from AK. All these are enamel, so I had to use enamel thinner and the cotton bud to clean the excess. And at the end, we have all the painting tools. You have the airbrush, the compressor, the cleaning pot. Safety is very important, so you have paint booths, the mask, gloves. And here the brushes. So the best brushes that exist is the Kolinsky Sables brush. They're super expensive, but super good. And then you have some generic painting stuff, paint tray, stirrer, and pipette. Okay, so if you want the exact link of the product that I used, I'm gonna put them on everestmodel.com. So if you want to buy exactly what I used, let's see you there.